Welcome to our demo session once again to every one of you. Let's get started. Before I go for the agenda discussion over here, I'll introduce myself. I'm Praveen, will be your instructor for AI LLM testing. I have over 13 years of experience in terms of test automation in a software industry, where I've been working on many tools on technology, which includes UI, API, and AI LLM testing from the last 1.5 years. As part of the tutor role, I have been teaching from the last 6 years on different tools and technology, which include Selenium, Cypress, Playwright, API performance, and then the AI LLM testing using different libraries, along with the AI agent development and AI agent testing. I have taken more than 100 sessions as 100 batches as a part of individual courses, and then more than 30 plus corporate training as well. That means inside 30 plus organization also have been teaching from the last 6 years. Okay, so that's basically a short description of I myself. And come back to the agenda. So for our agenda today for AI LLM testing will be something which you can understand on the very first day on the demo session. I'll talk about introduction to AI and LLM. That means what is AI, what is LLM in detail, how does it work in general, understanding RAG, retrieval augmented generation, what is RAG based application and so on, what is the difference between LLM and RAG, why AI LLM testing is important. I've developed one, the chatbot, which will try to test it over here as a part of live LLM testing. We'll discuss regarding the course content and then question and answer, whatever the question and answer that you will be having, we'll talk about that as well. Okay. So hoping every one of you are able to hear me. Let's get started. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, Praveen.
Yes. Okay. Great. So we'll start with the course content over in the introduction to AI LLM first, and then we'll move towards one by one slowly. So now, what is AI generally is, right? So most of you might be using somehow or either by directly towards work or indirectly to understand something. Most of you might be using ChatGPT or at least Gemini or any other cloud, Anthropic or any other AI that are available in the market, right? But let me ask you one question. How many of you know that how does it work in general? How does it give us the answer, right? How many of you understand whether the answer that have been given by AI is always correct, right? How many of you believe that it is always correct? Okay, so one more thing, like whenever you have any sort of questions, feel free to interrupt me, or you can also message inside the chat as well, and I'll take it, right? So these are basically an AI that are available in the market. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Right? What is artificial intelligence? Something which is not naturally available, have been developed by someone, is known as artificial, and have given the similar intelligence which a human being is having, known as intelligence. That means artificial intelligence, an intelligence that have been developed by someone. Okay, so when we talk about ChatGPT, Gemini, most of you might be using on the daily basis. But how does it work? What is the architecture behind this? How does it gives us the answer, whether those answers are correct or not, right? Is what we have to validate in terms of whenever we go for LLM testing. So if I uh, check a simple questions over here, let's say go to the chat GPT and ask any questions, any kind of questions that you try to ask over here. Okay. So let's say I'll ask it as um, who is the CEO of SBI? right? Simple things. So what it does, if you would have seen or if you would have observed over here, it was saying that searching for web, right? If I or if you did not watch it out, let me show you once again. So just try to see over here. It will ask you searching for web. See, searching for web. Why? Because every AI LLM that are available in the market have all the data till 2023. Okay, have all the data till 2023, but it does not have any data related to the current world, current market, which have been happened after 2023. Okay, so if you relate to ourselves like a human being, right? If I just ask you a question related to deep eval or Promptfoo, right? Most of you might not be able to answer. Why? Because it have not been taught to us. It has not been taught to you till now, or you have not gone through with these library till now. But if I ask you the similar questions after 2 months of time, right, you will be able to answer the question, right? So how does it work in general? As a part of our brain, as a part of our human brain, it is having a natural intelligence. That doesn't mean everything by default will be available, right? So what do we do generally is that from the childhood onwards, we have gone through with schooling, college, and different things that you have learned, and that is where you are currently now able to understand what I am trying to speak in English, right? But I, when I go to someone who have never gone to the schools and colleges, they might not be able to understand. Why? Because their brain have not been taught with English language or anything that you generally learn it inside the schools and colleges. So even our brain, to train that, we have been training our brain from the last 20 years, and then again, whatever the time that you have spent in terms of working, those also have been trained to our brain. Artificial intelligence works in the same way. If you simple ask the question, what is 2 plus 2? What is 2 plus 2? It does not have to search on the website. It did not search, right? It did not search on the website. What it does it has directly given us an answer 2 plus 2 equals to 4, right? Why? Because it has given the data till 2023, where it has also given addition, subtraction, multiplication, and all the things. Can every one of you please mute yourself? Please mute yourself as soon as you join. Thank you. Okay, so this value that you see over here, 2 plus 2, that means it has given the prior data itself, 2023 till 2023, whatever it have been taught with, the AI have been taught with, there they also have the pattern known as addition. And that is where it does not have to search on the website, right? Now, whatever the question that it has given over here, or whatever the answer that it has given over here, how do we know that this answer is correct? How do you believe that this answer is correct? Okay, that's where it becomes an important for us. And that's where if you see one thing over here that why AI LLM testing is important. So how do you believe that your answer is correct? How do you believe that the answer, the response that have been given by an AI LLM are correct over here? Okay, so artificial intelligence is a field where we train our system, where we develop the system in such a way which provides us an answer, right? So artificial intelligence have been developed by someone as a part of an intelligence known as artificial intelligence. It's just a system which performs certain kind of action. Example, the system that you see over here, right? You have asked a question and it has returned an answer. If you ask like who is the vice president of India, it gives us some answer over here, right? So as of June 2026, someone is there, right? But again, if you ask the similar questions, ask the same question again, and see over here what it is trying to return, right? It has given you some kind of answer again this time, which is not similar to the previous one. It says that as of 2026, the vice president is so on and so forth. He became the 15th vice president, but there is nothing mentioned over here, right? So why does the AI LLM testing is important? Because the same question, same model, same LLM, same AI will give you the different answer. So there is nothing called, however we try to do the system testing, it is entirely different in terms of AI LLM testing. System testing, you have login page where you provide the correct username, correct password 1,000 times, it will take you to the dashboard, whatever it has been made for. But if you ask the same questions to the AI LLM, 1,000 times, it will give you the 1,000 different answer. So then how do we test AI LLM? That's where it becomes an important and that's where it becomes an important plus the demand are more for an AI LLM testing, where we not only have to test the AI LLM application, but we have to make sure that everything is correct. Not only it is correct in terms of response, but it also has to provide you the correct relative answer, biasness, toxicity, many other things that you'll be learning it over here using security testing, safety testing, and so. Fine. So that is the main reason why do we go for an AI LLM testing. Every time it will give you different answers. Fine. Now let's again come back to the discussion over here. So AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is basically uh, something which have been just developed a system, and internally it has given a capability of LLM. LLM stands for large language model, right? The similar things that we were talking about. Our brain have been taught from the last 20 years, and that is where you are able to understand. If I just ask you a question related to deep eval, you might not be able to answer anything. But the same question, if I ask you after 2 months, you will be able to. Why? Because our brain have been taught with those libraries, those languages, and so on. Right? That means you have taught your brain with some additional data as well. That's what happened inside AI LLM. AI LLM have been taught with numerous set of data, billions of data that are available in the market. Billions of data that are available in the market. And that is where it gives us the answer. That is where whenever you try to ask any kind of questions, it gives us the answer. If you go back over here, you have asked who is the Vice President of India, right? It does not have any knowledge who is the current Vice President of India. So what it does, it has gone through the training data that it have been given. You see, it has also given you the reference Vice President of India .com or whatever it is, the application. Over here as well, it has given you the same reference that it is saying that I have taken the response from this reference that it have been given inside the LLM. Similarly, over here as well, from the sbibank.com, sbibank.com, and different other sources that it has taken this understanding wherever it found that the CEO of State Bank of India, wherever it matched in whatever document, it has returned us the answer, right? So that is what happened inside in every AI LLM. Whenever you ask a question, any kind of question to the AI LLM, anytime, try to understand this one. This is very important. Okay, so there are different types of or different ways in which artificial intelligence have been growing from the last 20 years. Even before the 20 years, there was an artificial intelligence, right? We might not be knowing, but there was an artificial intelligence even 20 years ago as well. And that was known as rule-based rule-based system, rule-based system, known as old fashionable artificial intelligence, right? Where We as a programmer write a code, something like, let's say, if text equals to, let's say, loan example. If it is matching over here, then display the value for loan, display the result for loan. If not, then try to again check it something. So this becomes a rule-based artificial intelligence. This was again like available so sorry, around 20 years ago, right? Then after that comes as a machine learning. Machine learning. These are a part of artificial intelligence, branches of artificial intelligence. Machine learning comes into picture. What is machine learning? Machine learning learns from the data. It learns from the data, learns from the data. As a developer, we try to train them a different data, try to provide them the different data, right? Let's say example, you have taught your system that 2 plus 2 will be 4. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. Now, whenever next time you ask the question, right, what is 5 plus 5? So it learns from these data and then returns us the value for this. Okay, addition 2 plus 2 becomes 4. So 5 plus 5 will be a 10 over here, right? That becomes a machine learning where it learns from the data. Next comes as a part of deep learning. Deep learning. Deep learning is working based on the neural network. Neural network. Deep learning is basically working by using the neural network. This is also something that it helps us in terms of learning by using the data itself. It also learns by using the data itself. But it is a powerful system, neural network. Our brain also works by using the neural network itself. Our human brain also works by using the neural network itself. The neural network is something that machine learning learns from the data, but it does not have a capability of picking up different sources from the different data, like different data from the different sources. Whereas deep eval, when it has also given a capability of neural network, it becomes a powerful machine learning system that uses multi-layer natural processing, multi-layer neural network. That means whatever the question that you try to ask, it picks up from the different sources, collects from the different sources, searches between the different sources and returns the data. Okay, so it picks up the value from the different sources, learn from the complex pattern, complex data that we have given, and then depending on that, it returns us the answer. Okay, and the current market that we see over here, the current that is available in the market is basically the generative AI. Generative AI. The fourth one that we are currently that we see in the market known as generative AI. Generative AI means it can also create you the new context. It not only will give you the answer, but it will also create a new content. Content can be anything, image, audio, etc. It can perform any kind of content creation as well. Gen AI known as generative AI, the current market that we see over here. Okay. So what I was talking about is whenever you ask a question to the AI LLM, right? What is the architecture behind this? How does the AI LLM understand? How does the AI LLM gives us the result over here? Right? Whenever you try to perform any kind of or ask any kind of question, how does the ALLM provide us the value, right? So what generally happen is a user, as a user, let's say you have asked a question over here, right? As a user, we have asked a question to LLM, right? Whenever you ask a question to the LLM, what happened? It does not directly provide us the answer, right? As a user, we just think over here that I have asked a question and it has given us the answer. But how does it return the answer? how does it return the answer? It return the answer based on the numerous set of data that we have taught to the AI, right? So what it will do is it will go inside all the training data, all the training or available data inside the LLM. It will simply go to all the training data that it have been given. It might have been given billions of data, right? There are Google sources, there are link, PDF, document, Word document, GitHub, different sources that it has given the access to, right? So it would go and search inside all those sources wherever the data might be matching, right? Wherever the data might be matching, it collects the data, it collects the data and then summarizes us the value, summarizes those answers and return those answer as a part of result and return the result over here. Always remember that this return will be predict it's something like non-predictive, like non-deterministic. It simply returns us the pattern that it learned internally, right? So it will always be a non-deterministic in general, right? Now, when I talk about summarizes those answers, what is meant by that? So let's go over here. It has gone through different websites, right? Where it has been mentioned with different answer. You have all these value where it has mentioned as a chairman, that means CEO of SBI, and then there are some other options over here as well, right? So from there, it has gotten the result and then summarize it. So if you see, there are different values are available, but it has just given us a summary over here, right? It has also gone through with these other sources as well, where it has been given in this language, right? If you go inside this, there are many other things available. Many different text value are available over here, but all these have been not given as a part of result.
Hello, hello.
Yes. Tim, able to understand, able to hear me properly?
Yeah, Praveen, you're able.
Yeah, yes, we
Okay,
can.
right. So if you see all these reference that it has taken, but it did not give you all the answers, whatever it has given over here. It has not given all the answer over here. What it does, it summarizes the answer depending on the question that we have asked, right? So that is what it does. That is what it does over here. Summarizes those answer and return the result over here. And result might not be like whatever we try to assume as a part of expected data. So might not be the things over here. It will be a non-deterministic. Non-deterministic means you might not be able to guess what will be the value. When you ask the question second time, right, the similar question, it has some different result, right? So our um, when we go for a system testing, right, that becomes a deterministic testing, deterministic, known as system testing, right?
So
The one
here, deterministic means the output, the actual result we already know.
actual
That
result,
is deterministic.
right, right.
Okay.
Right. So the system testing that we do, you have a username, you have password. When you click on login button, if it is correct, it will always take you to the dashboard page. If it is wrong, it will always throw you an error, right? But we do not have such things over here. We do not have inside an ALLM. This becomes non-deterministic, non-deterministic. That means for the same answer, for the same question every time, you cannot expect the same answer. For the same question every time also, it will return you the different data, different result it will return you, even for the similar question multiple times or from multiple different models as well. Okay, that's where it becomes very, in terms of ALLM, whenever we have to validate, it has to get validated in a multi-dimensional format, right? Not only the correctness, but there are n number of things that you'll be evaluating as a part of AI LLM testing. And this is the reason why AI LLM testing becomes important in general, right? So example, over here, we do not have any text value which will match with your answer. So when you ask what is the capital of India, right? You might have given your expected output as, let's say, expected output that you have given is Delhi is the capital of India. Delhi is the capital of India, right? And probably the actual output that you will be getting, it might be something like the capital of India is Delhi. The capital of India is Delhi, right? Now, if you go through with both of the statement over here, Delhi is the capital of India and the capital of India is Delhi. Both of the meanings of both of the sentence are same. It is also talking about the capital of India is Delhi. It is also talking about the capital of India is Delhi, right? But the sentence that you see over here are not matching at all. The word that you see over here are not matching in this case, right? So inside an LLM, whenever you try to go for validation, it works in a semantic similarity way. I'll not go in detail, you'll get confused right now. But once we go through with from the next week onwards with the regular sessions, there we'll understand that I'll make you understand what is semantic similarity in general, right? So semantic similarity is something, if the meanings of the sentence are correct, those are considered as matching statement. Okay, there might not be chances that your each and every text or words matches over here, but if the meanings of the sentence are same, that is known as semantic similarity. Okay, so that's basically about what is AI LLM, an introduction of an AI LLM in general, right? So that is the main challenge that we have, that once it becomes a non-deterministic, how do we validate the AI LLM testing? And that is where it becomes an important role inside the every organization nowadays to go for an LLM tester. That is where Cloud, which is Anthropic, is able to pay $400,000 to in USA for QA engineers, which is AI LLM engineers, and OpenAI used to pay $350,000 and so on for the AI LLM engineer. Now, once we go for the AI LLM engineer, most of the time you might have seen a role becomes as, once you complete that, after that, what the role that you will be getting, right? So that role will be AI test engineer, can be or could be AI test engineer, LLM evaluator, AI quality engineer, prompt engineer, and then AI validation specialist. Okay, so to test this non-deterministic part, there are different library that we'll be going through in our session, and those are known as deep eval, Promptfoo, and ragas. These are the three popular libraries are available to test AI LLM. There are multiple, but these are the popular three which every organization, including enterprise who develop the OpenAI, Gemini, and all, they also uses these library. But not all the three libraries. Either they will be using deep eval, or they will be using Promptfoo, or they will be using ragas, right? We will be learning over here all the three. So any of the organization uses deep eval, you will also be eligible over there. If they use Promptfoo, you will also be eligible. And if they use ragas, you'll also be able to fit over there as well. Okay. Now, just to show you in our session, right? I'll in the next 5 minutes, I'll come back to stop for a couple of minutes to see if you have any questions, and then I'll again start with. But after going through with the course, right, you will be in a situation where you can develop. I'm not talking only over here. I'll show you in our demo session as well, what all the things that you'll be develop. You will develop any kind of chatbot or AI agent that you can develop after the course. Yes, I'm right. I'm saying develop. That means not only the testing, you will also be able to develop the AI agent chatbot as well. You will develop the dashboard, monitoring dashboard for your everyday testing, right? For your everyday AI testing, you will be able to develop the monitoring dashboard. You will also be able to develop the RAG-based application and test that as well, which I'll show you. I'll not, display you what you will be basically developing, but I'll show you. I've just developed it yesterday for our demo session where I can show you that what all the things you'll be learning. So you'll also be able to develop the RAG-based application, right? Which I'll make sure you'll understand after 30 or 35 minutes from now on, right? And then you'll also be able to test this application as well, right? You will also be able to work with, if in case if you have not worked on GitHub and trying to develop your models, trying to train your models and so on, right? All these things you will be able to develop by self. You can develop a chatbot or AI agent which can directly fetch you the data from Zeta and convert that into a form of test cases. Okay. So Sayed, just to answer your question, can you not do these things with the available LLMs? You can do with the available LLMs, and we'll be doing with the available LLMs itself. But who do who will be testing whether those available LLMs are correct or not, right? So the question over here is from your side is that moreover testing with AI, right? The question that you have asked is basically for testing with AI. We are not doing testing with AI over here. We are testing the AI itself. We are testing the AI itself over here, not doing the testing with AI, testing the AI itself. Right? The LLM that you use, the ChatGPT that you use, we are testing that ChatGPT itself, that how does it come into picture. Okay, so just to show you that what all the things you will be able to develop or accomplish after our courses is that you'll be able to develop develop a chatbot AI agent that we say by self, right? Over here, if you see, this is basically the one that I have developed, which is known as a good chatbot. In this case, I have also given some kind of training over here for this chatbot, which is known as a good chatbot. I've given some kind of training that you have to behave in certain way. And then second, known as a bad chatbot, where I have given again some kind of training data, but those training data are not proper, right? So properly, I have not trained my system over here, which becomes a bad chatbot in this case. Okay. And this one is the good chatbot where I've told them that you are so and so person. I've given proper training, whatever it requires over here to become a good chatbot. Good chatbot means stick to the point that the user is asking the question. Okay, where I'll not go in detail. You'll understand in our session. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use an open AI, the one that you said like it is available in the market, right? None of the organization nowadays will go and develop their own AI from the scratch. What they do is they'll go and search it wherever it is available, whichever it is available. They'll simply go and start using those LLMs, right? So similar things what we have done is we are using an open AI over here to develop our chatbot. Okay, Langfuse I have used to create the dashboard as well. Create the dashboard as well. Dashboard for our AI LLM testing. As soon as I'm trying to go through with this, what I'll do is I'll also open the dashboard, which you will also be developing in our course content as well. I'm just trying to open so that you will also see how does it work, what will be the dashboard and so on. So um, do not worry how I'm trying to use everything. You'll be learning it over here. Okay, this will open our dashboard. Inside this, it will take like 30 seconds to 60 seconds of time, and then we'll come back. So what we are trying to use over here is OpenAI for development of our chatbot, LangFuse to develop the dashboard, and some other things, operating system and time, to calculate how many seconds it is taking in terms of returning us the response. There are open API key that I'm trying to use, and this is what I was saying, that we are trying to use an open AI, which is GPT, chat GPT. And then over here, we've created a chatbot which takes a query. That means the user will be asking a query. This chatbot will take a query and return us the response by using a model known as GPT-4o Mini. Right. So every organization uses different types of models. Right. One of the model that I'm trying to use is GPT-4o. Right. So GPT-4o is something which will again uh, it is existing in the market, but whatever the rules that I've given over here, depending on that rule, it will help us in terms of answering the question. Okay. Now after that, it gets the message that what you are and so on, whether you are making it as a banking chatbot, healthcare chatbot, your test automation chatbot, or whatever it can be, that role it takes and returns us the answer over here. Returns us the answer in the form of JSON format. Okay, so whenever you will have this particular data in this format, right, you will store your data inside variable. Let's say I'll say it as result equals to this, right? And whenever you have to get what is the output, you'll simply get it something like this. Result is your variable. Variable means where you have stored the data, and provide the key for which you are getting the value. So you want to get what was the output that it has returned, you'll simply make it as something like this. Result inside the square bracket, so on. All these things you'll be learning inside the Python when we start with the Python over here. Okay, and then it is returning us the output, which model that we have used, how many tokens it has taken, what was the prompt token, completion token, total cost that it has involved, and so on. And that is where when you go over here and go to the dashboard, this is what the dashboard that you will be developing. How much cost it have involved, how many tokens that it have been taken, how many requests that it have been gone through, how many percentage of your prompt, the testing that you have done have been passed, cost by a model, token by models. These are the things that general organization develop inside there, and even enterprise organization as well. QA by metrics, which one have been failed, which one have been passed. If you see over here how many tokens it has done, cost, latency, which metrics that you have used, whether it have been passed or failed, all those details along with the debugging details, you'll be getting it over here, right? So this is the dashboard you will also be able to develop inside our courses. Again, taking the help of the front end engineer. Okay, this becomes one dashboard, and that is where if you see all these metrics that we are trying to get is for the dashboard only. The time that you are trying to calculate is for the dashboard only. The pricing that you are calculating is for the dashboard only. Okay, the chatbot that we have developed is just for 7 or 8 lines of code. This one, that's it. Takes a query, asks the query to the model, and it returns us the answer by using one of the things. In the initial stage of our session, in the initial stage of our courses, like as soon as it start, you will also be developing this in the initial stage after going through with Python. So you'll see there the complete the dashboard kind of things what we'll be developing, right? So now we have developed this chatbot. Okay, I'll just wait for 3 minutes to see if you have any sort of questions right now, and then we'll also test a couple of metrics to see how we are testing it over here. Any questions for now?
I had a question. I'm Gibran. So, like you said regarding the chatbot, like you were creating a dashboard. So already with the help of AI, we are able to create the website with the chatbot. So how this particular, like this effort is here we are requiring an extra effort of coding and creating a chatbot on our own self. But we already have in market where we can give the prompts and command to the AI and they are creating the dashboard itself. How this would help? How this is different than that?
No, so you did not understand basically the course over here. Course we are not trying to use or not trying to, you're right, like whatever the chatbot that I have developed over here, you will also be able to develop, right? But you're thinking in a very basic part of the things, right? When the organization goes and uses those enterprise organization uses those AI LLM, or if you work with, let's say, Google or OpenAI, who is trying to develop the LLM itself, right? Who will be testing those applications? It will be developed. The chatbot that you have given over here will be developed by the, will can be given by your code, whichever AI that are available in the market. But who will test these applications whether it is working correctly or not, right? So your role is not to develop something, your role is to test something over here. And in terms of testing, you will also be learning how do you develop these kind of, right? I understand when you write all the things, let's say everything you have taken the help of an AI LLM, a fine day it started failing, right? One day it started failing. Now, how will you debug those things? Will you again give everything to the AI? Right? It will again suggest you some kind of things, and it takes hours and hours, day by day, to fix it out, everything related to your answer. Right? So it is not something that everything you will be taking the help of an AI to develop. It can develop you the dashboard, it can develop you the chatbot that you see on my screen. But then once it start failing, you will again have to give to the AI, right? That means everything that you have internally developed, you will reveal to the AI.
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
got your point.
So
Yeah.
over depending on the AI is also not good. Plus, your role will not be the development. Your role will be when you have developed this, when your development team will develop this, how do you test those kind of application? Whether it is working properly or not, whether it is returning you the correct answer or not, and so on. Right. So
Yeah.
our role over here will be as a part of tester, not the development. In
Got.
terms of testing, you will also be able to develop these scenarios as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking in
Okay.
another way. You're right.
But just a second.
I have a question. Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. I see you are using the GPT-4o mini model, but I was thinking, does the result that you get depends on the model you use because you have also more advanced models and I think more expensive models. So I just was wondering if that's also the cost.
Right. It's just because the cost. I have a subscription of GPT.
Yes?
GPT-4o mini is the cost efficient for our training purpose.
Okay, but suppose you use those models from Claude, will you get more better answers or is that not
You will
the
get more
case?
better answer. You'll get more
Oh,
better answer. So
okay.
the recent model, if you try to use, you will get more better answer. The one that we are using is the cost efficient. It by 1 million tokens, you'll invest somewhere around 0.00 something dollars.
Yes, yes. But
That is
if
only
you,
the reason that I have taken.
okay, okay, thanks.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
One more question actually.
right,
Uh,
I'll just wait for 1 more minute to see if you have any questions, and then I can
no,
come back. Yes,
yeah, the
please go ahead.
question was regarding the recording. So we will be getting recordings, right, for this. Uh,
Recordings will be available on the daily basis and for the lifelong access.
and it would go on where it would be available, like on
You
the.
will get, you have, you will have the different answer. You will get it out. You will
Okay,
be, it will also be available in the drive folder as well.
okay, sure, sure. Thank you.
Hi, I have a doubt. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So actually, you said the LLMs have data up to 2023. So my question is, don't we have any feature or architecture that it can be trained in live? So like every time, so the tech is getting scalable for every year. So did we can't infuse value into it in live, like can't we make it it's regular it's our training, putting data inside, or it's a one time training and just deployment? Just
It
want to
happens on
understand this.
it happens on the daily basis inside the organization.
Ah, okay, that's why as you told it the data of only 2023. Initially I think you told this, right? Did I
Exactly.
catch it?
That is what happened. So all the data till 2023, it have been given as a pre-trained data.
Okay.
Pre-trained data, and then on the daily basis it gets. So if you ask the chat GPT or any GPT over here or any AI that what happened in the last 1 hour inside certain cities, they will not be able to answer because that becomes a live question, right? Recent question, right? It might be able to answer you what happened yesterday because again on the daily basis it gets trained with the newly data or new data that it creates, but it might not be able to give you the current live what is happening in the world, right? So that is where I was talking about when it has a pre-trained data till 2023. Whatever happened till 2023, every GPT is by default available. When it is not available, it has given an option that it can explore on the web, and that is where you might have seen that it says that searching on web, right? So it search on the web
Yes.
and then returns us the data.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Thank you.
Great. Now let's also talk about how do we test these kind of application, right? So how do we test these applications whenever we have these applications that have been developed? Let's say your organization have started using any of the AI inside their workflow, inside the application, and they have developed some chatbot or they have developed some their own LLM which works for generation of, let's say, analytical data, generation, summarization of the question that is being asked by the user, or even for the test automation generation or whatever it means of. Like, how do we test those kind of application over here? Okay, so whenever we go for testing, let me also create one file over. The first thing that we create is answer relevancy dot py. Right, dot py is an extension for Python. Okay, so whenever we test any kind of AI, any kind of AI or LLM, it is not having the straightforward result, right? It will also have the similar things that we as a part of tester go through on the daily basis inside the system testing. What all those things that are available? We have test case, which will consist of different steps. You will have expected output, right? You will also have the data as well, like what we say it as input data. Then we'll have an expected output. You'll have an actual output, which we'll compare, and then we'll try to find out whether the answer is correct or not, right? This becomes a normal software testing, which is deterministic. Have steps, follow the steps with the data, whatever we are expecting. As soon as you have executed the test case, it returns us the result, right? So depending on that, it tries to perform whatever it has to go through in this, right? Now, in the non-deterministic or which is test case and part, right? Not the complete step, but different solution it might be having, but it will also have a test case. It will have an input, which which is basically the query will be asked by the user. We'll have an output, which is the result or the response that we'll be getting from LLM, right? And whatever the expected and actual that you have over here, sometimes you'll also be getting the expected over here as well, right? The actual response becomes the output that you'll be getting.
Not at all audible.
Not audible? Am I
It's
audible?
audible.
Yes,
Now we
you're
can
audible.
hear you actually.
Now
Able
it's
to hear?
clear. Now it's
Okay, fine. So what generally happen is you will have an input, you'll also have an output, right? And after that, you might be having different options over here, right? Different kinds of metrics comes into picture. What we say it as a type of testing in our software testing, which is unit testing, integration testing, and so on, right? Those are known as metrics over here. You will have a lot of different metrics to evaluate, like answer relevancy, right? Now, in terms of our software testing, we validate one thing, which is expected equals to actual, right? You are expecting something. If it is displaying that is, then it is pass or else fail, right? As a part of LLM testing, you will not only validate whether the answer is correct or not. You will validate n number of things over here. And that is where these metrics are known as answer relevancy, whether the answer is relevant or not. Okay, let's see one example over here. Let's say I have asked a question, what is fixed deposit? What is fixed deposit, right? In terms of a banking context, what is fixed deposit? Now, this has given us a result that, let's say, as a part of your chatbot or your LLM that you have developed, it has given us a result, the process of applying for a personal loan, applying for a personal loan. Example, the answer is completely correct. The answer is 100% correct that it has given us as a part of what could be the process of applying for personal loan. Try to understand what we are trying to, what we will be learning. You will be defining it inside. What you'll be defining it inside our testing over here, right? So what generally happens is whenever you go for any kind of learning, any kind of testing over here, okay, the question that we have asked is, what is FD? What is fixed deposit? The answer it have been given as the process of applying for a personal loan, which is 100% correct. The answer that it has given when someone asks what is the process of applying for a personal loan, it has given us in the complete details over here. 100% working, everything is working fine. But does this answer relevant to the question that have been asked by the user?
No.
No, not at all.
no,
Right.
no.
The team, the recordings will be available for this recordings. The today's recording will also be available, which you will be getting as soon as we finish our session. Within 30 minutes, you'll be getting. So you do not have to worry about. Right. So this, what you have said is the answer is not relevant. Right. That is one type of testing that we have to perform over here. Whether the answer is relevant or not, that is what known as answer relevancy. Right? This answer relevancy does not talk about whether your answer is correct or not. Whether your answer is correct or not. It does not have anything that it has to do with whether the answer is correct or not. It validates whether the answer is relevant or not. Whether the answer is relevant or not. There will be correctness metrics which checks whether the answer is correct or not. The expected output and actual output is matching or not. You will be validating with hallucination. Hallucination means guessed. When you do not provide the question in a correct way, right? As a human being also we do hallucination. Let's say I have asked you a question in an interview which you are not aware of, right? As a human being, what do we try to do? We guess the question, and depending on that we try to answer the explanation, right? That is what mean by hallucination. Fabricated data. Fabricated data. How do you know that this answer is correct? How do you know that this answer is correct? Right? We have some source of truth where we'll validate who is the CEO or the chairman of SBA over here. And depending on that, we'll make a conclusion whether the answer is correct or not. Right? So that is where it goes as a part of validation whether it has been hallucinated or not. And because of this, many of the models have been considered as a bad model. It does not understand your proper question. It guesses the question, and depending on that, it tries to provide us the answer. That becomes an hallucination. There, you will also be validating whether it is biased or not. When you ask a question saying that who is better in terms of programming, whether a male or female, right? There is no answer which talks about a male is better or female is better in certain field, right? It also has to have a complete neutral in general, that known as biasness. How do you check whether your
Unable to get your voice, brother.
Yeah, Praveen, can't hear you.
Your voice is not audible, sir.
Yeah, couldn't hear you.
now?
Yes, you are audible now.
Not sure what is happening. Okay, fine. So hopefully you're able to hear me. Let's continue. Now, is it fine now? All good?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So these are the different types of, these are few, there are different types of metrics that you'll be using, and all those documents also you'll be getting as a part of our result, right? So over here, when you go to a deep eval metrics, you will have a different metrics that you'll be evaluating it over here. Okay. Faithfulness, whether your answer is believable or not, faithfulness and so on, right? Different types of metrics comes into picture.
I mean, can you please say toxicity? We lost when you explain it.
That's fine. We'll go through in detail, right? You will also have a document where it talks about toxicity and all. Toxicity means whether your answer is safe or not, harmful, offensive, and in appropriate context. You'll get to know. You'll have a document available as well. You'll get to know in our regular sessions as well. Fine. So now let's see, how do we test one such application or one such test cases over here to see whether the answer is correct or not, right? Now, before I move to testing, before I move to testing this, let's also see the RAG application that I was talking about. You will also be able to develop, right? If you are able to develop, one of our colleague was saying that we'll be able to develop by using the LLM that are available. Yes, you are right. But in terms of an interview, they will not give you the LLM to develop, right? So we also have to have certain things where we can try to develop something over here, right? So on my screen, if you see, this is again for the demo purpose I have developed this, which is a RAG based application, right? RAG based application means, I'll come back for question and answer understanding, but let's understand the RAG over here. You might have heard the terminology known as RAG, right? RAG stands for retrieval, augmented, generation. Retrieval augmented generation, right? Now, what is difference between normal LLM and RAG LLM over here, or RAG based application? Normal LLM is something that you ask any questions and it returns you the response. You ask any type of question and it returns you the response. Now, frankly, this is again, be interactive over here so that you'll be able to learn in the demo session as well in a better way. Now, if I ask you a question, you are trying to develop your own organization. Will you provide every internal data to any of the AI LLM? Simple question. You are trying to develop an organization. Will you provide all the internal information to any of the AI LLM?
No.
Right?
No.
You will not,
No.
right? Definitely not, because that becomes your internal data, right? And what you are trying to write the test automation, you have a private GitHub repository so that it will not be accessible to the outside of the world. Same goes over here as well. If I'm trying to develop an organization, I'm trying to use your AI, that doesn't mean every data I'll reveal it to you, right? This is an important concept, team. Understand, because most of the organization using RAG. Now what happened? So what we'll do is we'll take a subscription from the AI providers and store it inside our local cloud. Local cloud. When you store it inside the local cloud, anything that you teach to the RAG, anything that you provide the information to the RAG, this will not be shared with the AI LLM provider. AI LLM provider. So what generally happen in terms of a RAG based application is we take a subscription, store it inside the local cloud, and then provide all the internal related documents, to the AI LLM over here. Internal policies, it can be anything, it can be over here, right? So when you provide all those internal documents as a part of training, right, this becomes your RAG based application. Now, as a user, what you will evaluate, as a user, what you will do over here is that whenever you ask a question, now when it becomes your local, when you have stored inside your local, it does not have any information of the outside world. Whatever the training data that you have given over here, depending on that itself, it will be able to answer you. Depending on that itself. And that is what your main validation becomes. Whatever the training data that you have given, it can be PDF, it can be Word, it can be your Jira, it can be GitHub, it can be any link policies related to organization. So whenever you ask those information over here, ask the query, it has to return the data from the internal document that you have given. That is what known as RAG. It does not have any outside knowledge, but your private data information related to your organization or so on. Most of you in India might be using Zomato, right? You might have interacted with the help section. When you ask a question, anything unrelated to Zomato, it will not be giving you the answer. Why? Because it does not have any knowledge outside of the Zomato. Right? So that is what mean by a RAG over here. Whatever the document that you have taught over here, your response has to have from the particular document itself. And that is what mean by RAG based application, and validation becomes similar to the RAG over here. So if I just try to show you the RAG based application that we have developed over here, again, I'll try to open this. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to open the same RAG, the same dashboard that I have developed over here, which is Streamlit. Streamlit is one of a library in terms of Python to develop the front-end application. Stream. This will also give us the similar things. Streamlit. This will also, open the one of our application over here, which will see that this will be again related to the RAG. Like it will open it over here where you will have an option to upload the document. And when you ask the questions, it will return us from the document itself. If the question is not available inside, and this is what I was talking about earlier, right? When you ask a question to the LLM, whenever you ask a question to the LLM, it goes back to the training data, return us the response from the training data. So if the query that you have asked, if it is not available, then it has to simply return as a part of RAG based validation. Let's say you have given a banking details and you are talking about who is the president of United States, right? It does not have any information. So in that case, it it simply has to give us the result saying that no data found. That means I do not have any answer for this, right? That is what will be having a validation for the RAG based application. RAG based application will be different in terms of evaluation, remains same whatever you have to do over here like test case and so on, but as a part of validation it becomes a bit different over here. Okay, let me see if it has opened. Right. You see, this is basically the RAG, which you will also be able to develop with the help of front-end engineers or by taking the help of a GPT, right? You can upload any of the documents. So let's say I'll upload AI LLM course content, this one over here. After uploading it, process your data, right? So I'm just trying to click on the process document. Let me also open the same document which I have uploaded over here. So this is the document which in the next 30 minutes I'll be talking about what are the course content. We have a course description, target audience, learning objectives, and then the complete course module over here, right? When I ask the questions, what is learning objectives, right? It has to give us the same value that it has mentioned over here. It should not be from the outside of the world because it does not have anything. What is learning objective? From where do you are trying? Where are you trying to ask this question? So when I say the same question to what is learning objectives, right? It will not be able to give the answer, right? Because it simply assumes that a generic questions, learning objectives are clear specification and so on. But regarding to what? Mathematics, science, computer program, which one, right? This is known as hallucination. It does not have any information, so it has guessed our question over here and given the fabricated data. Okay, but the dashboard, the chatbot that you have developed over here, the RAG that you have developed over here, ask the same question over here. What is learning objectives? And ask the questions. Let's see if it is able to give you the answer from the document or not. That is what known as RAG based application, right? That is what known as RAG application. Our testing becomes whether it is coming up from your document that you have given the knowledge or not. We have given the knowledge as ALLM course content, same document. It says that explain key ALLM concept to build trustable, safe and user friendly AI application. Check it over here, explain key AI, build trustable. So, and it has also taken the retrieval context. Retrieval context. I'll explain this in the regular session. This retrieval context becomes an important, right? So earlier, if we would have seen that whenever you ask a question to AI LLM, it goes to the all training data, summarizes the answer, right? It basically goes to all the training data and find out wherever it is matching. Similar things that it has gone over here. It has gone through the training data. From there, it matched that there is something known as learning objectives, and that is what the learning objectives that it has returned over here. This is known as retrieval context. In terms of RAG based application, known as retrieval context. That means wherever these options, wherever these questions were matching, it returns us the different chunks of data. From there, if the value is matching from these chunks of the data, like chunks of, you'll understand, as I said, like in our regular session, I'll make you understand. These data that you see, it has taken as a part of reference. If the answer that it has given over here is matching from the reference, then only it has to return us the result. Then only this RAG based application is correct, right? Now ask a question, the second question, who is the president of India? President of India, right? Ask the questions this time it does not, it should not have to give you the answer. I could not find this information in the document. To answer this question, it has again gone through the documents. It has returned some top 5 information because I have given the top 5 to return it over here. If you go inside the development that I have done inside this, right? So if you go inside this, I have said that just give me the 5 chunks over here, 5 different documents. From that, the answer has to be related, right? So it has gone through with all the documents that you have given, which is ALLM documents, course content, return 5 documents, and from that it is trying to check whether this question is available or not. It is not available, so it returns us saying that the document, the question is not available over here. I could not find the information. But when it matched over here, it has given us the result from the document that you have uploaded. That is what known as RAG based application. And how do you validate those application over here? Okay, we'll validate this inside our session as well. We still have 1 hour to go. In that, we'll try to write a couple of test cases over here. So let's go back to this now and see that how do we write the test answer in the form of, how do we write one test case in the form of answer relevancy over here?
Now,
Okay,
Praveen, sorry to interrupt.
yes.
Just want to let you know. So whatever we are just testing, we are not testing in the logs, how we are testing in the automation. We are just creating the dashboard for monitoring as you saw show us previously for LLM testing and for RAG base. We need to upload in front end only. We need to upload. We have to give the query. There itself only we have to test. Like this only we are just testing the RAG and LLM, right? As of now, what you have done,
Uh-huh.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so no need to go to the tool and see the means answer like automation, how we are just testing. It
So
is
you do not
all the
have to.
thing.
You do
Okay,
not have
this is
to. So
all
one,
the front end we have to test it, right?
no,
In
you do
AI.
not have to. So whatever the front end that you have, that becomes a manual testing. Whatever you are
Mm-hmm.
seeing, that becomes a manual testing. So whatever you have tested over here, this is
Mm-hmm.
manual testing. That how do you write it in terms of automation? You will also be developing that as well. Okay,
Okay.
how do you write it in terms of the, let me see. Okay, so if you see over here, right? I have also written couple of test case. I thought it is not. I have written the test case. So this is what you will be validating over there. This is what your test case will be, and will validate whether it is coming from the document that you have uploaded over here or not. This, whatever you see on my screen, is from the deep eval, and the similar test case you can also write in the form of Promptfoo library as well. Right. So this is what you will be writing as a part of test automation to validate whether your answer is matching or not. Okay, if I just try to run this, this is one of a test case. Team, you will be going through from the scratch, how do you write it at, and so on. For this, I'll also have to, I mean, as you have asked the question, so let's understand in a better way. So you'll also have to, just give me a second. You will also have to write the test case in terms of automated way as well, not only the manual that you have done over here. This becomes a manual, can be again, AI LLM testing by manually, it is very hard. You will not be testing one question, you will have a millions of questions to validate, right? And
Mm-hmm.
going through with the manual testing, it is completely hard over here. Okay, now let's say I'm trying to execute this particular test case, which is in the form of Promptfoo. Promptfoo is also a library which you will be learning. This is the provider. That means you are saying that test me the API that I have developed. That means I have just given an API in the form of your validation. It can be either a model or an API, the model name or an API. Then you are trying to provide the question. Whatever the question that you ask over here will get inside this, and then the testing that we are trying to validate. Right, what is LLM rubric and all, you'll understand in the going forward. So whatever the question that you have asked, what is target audience, what is the learning objectives, similar things, right? You also have the target audience available inside this document. You also have the learning objectives, right? So that is what you are trying to validate by by writing the test automation. Let's see how does it work. So I'll try to run this by using Promptfoo eval -c and then provide the file name. This is the command where you have to run the test case, right? So what it will do, it will first go to the application, right? This particular application, whatever the document that you have uploaded, from that document, it will try to check the same document that you have uploaded. From that, it will try to check whether it is available or not. So if you go inside this, it says that the answer, the target audience is beginner in software testing, interested in so on. So let's validate over here. Beginner in software testing, interested in AI quality. Last one is AI product manager and tech lead focused on model reliability. AI product manager and test lead, right? So everything it is coming from your document. That is where it says that pass. For the learning objectives as well, it has given the answer from the similar things. That is where it is saying it is a pass. Right? So you will not be doing manual testing. You will be writing a test to validate whether it is working or not, because you might be having millions of question to query to validate, not only the single one. Okay, you can also validate the one that you are talking about, the log and all. You can also validate from here as well. This will also create one dashboard. Promptfoo will also create one dashboard, and from there you will also be able to see the testing that you have done, whether it have been passed or not. What was the question? What was the answer? Why it is saying that the answer is pass? Okay, so all those details you'll also be able to see on the dashboard as well. Fine.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Great. Now let's go back to this and quickly finish it off, writing one test case saying that whether the answer is relevant or not. Whatever the question that you ask over here, whether it is coming up with the same answer or not. And we'll do the same negative testing for the similar test case and see if it is able to catch our uh, incorrect information or not. Fine. Over here, I'll be using a Langfuse to display the dashboard. Probably I do not have to have to again show you, because like, the dashboard, you can create it again by um, going through with once we go inside our courses, you can also develop at that point of time. But I'll just use a Langfuse to dashboard so that you will also be able to see the result. And then I'll be using a deep eval as a library and the good chatbot that we have developed over here as a part of testing. Okay, so these are the three different things we'll be using it over here. Now, first thing, to write the test case, you have to prepare in the same way. The test case, input first, what is the query? You'll be getting output from the good chatbot. Then which metrics that you are trying to evaluate. So answer relevancy metrics. Test case we have to provide, and then there will be a method known as evaluate inside the deep eval, which help us in terms of evaluating whether the input, query, and the response are matching or not. Okay, let's see how does it work. So from I already have deep eval available in my system, Langfuse available in my system, so I do not have to install it again. But in general, we'll be going through in our courses. There we'll try to do that installation part. And again, do not worry for what I'm trying to import. Every language have their own way of importing the library. That is what the library that I'm trying to import over here. From Langfuse, I'm trying to import observe is one of a annotation which help us in terms of observing the complete step that we are trying to follow. Then I have to import good chatbot as well, which we have written it over here. So I'll say it as from services dot good chatbot, import the name that we have given. The name is a chatbot over here. So if you go inside the good chatbot, we have the name given of the function as chatbot. Okay. Now from Langfuse configuration, I'm trying to import. So this is the Langfuse configuration where I have given all the API key. So from that, it will refer for the authentication purpose, importing Langfuse. And then after that, from deep eval, we have to write our test case, get the metrics, and get the evaluation over here, right? By using the deep eval metrics. That is what now we are trying to write. So there is a module known as test case. Inside that module, one of the class known as LLM test case, which will help us in terms of writing the LLM test case. The step that you write manually inside the test automation, inside the manual testing, and in terms of a test automation, whatever the step that you write it inside the test case becomes the LLM test case over here. Okay, from the metrics, what are the different types of testing that you are trying to do becomes a metrics. So from deep eval metrics dot metrics, I'm trying to import one matrix known as answer relevancy matrix. Right? And then we'll be going for, at the end, we'll be going for evaluation, right? Assertion that we write in terms of test case, test automation or manual testing, that becomes an evaluation over here inside inside the AI LLM testing. So that is known as evaluate. Import evaluate is a method available which will take the test case, and the metrics and evaluate whether the query and the response are matching exactly or not with some kind of score. So this evaluate method will also generate this answer relevancy metrics will also generate us a score as well. It checks whether the answer is matching or not, whether it is fully matching or partially matching, and it will generate a score between 0 to 1. 0 means nothing is matching, 1 means 100% is matching, right? Whatever metrics that you are trying to evaluate, answer relevancy matching 100%, 1, correctness, answer is correct, 100% correct, 1, partially correct, probably 0.6 or 0.7, right? So those kind of result will be displayed over here.
So I have
Well,
two questions here. You mentioned about semantic similarities at the start of the session.
that
So
is what
that will
will be
come under
evaluated.
evaluate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And this answer relevancy is probably related to the threshold that you are given
right,
in the test case, I believe. Okay.
yes, right. So
Okay.
you will also have a threshold that you talk about asserting your test case, whether the answer that it has returned is probably greater than 70% matching or not, right? So that becomes as a part of threshold. Okay, so I am writing it over here saying that observe, so that it will keep on observing all the steps. I'll simply provide the name as, let's say, some QA pipeline. Okay, now I start writing the test case. So first thing that you need is an input. What is the input? Let's say I'll simply ask the similar questions. Go ahead.
Praveen, good chatbot is the API that we are checking, validating,
Yes,
or we have developed. Yeah, okay.
right. So I'm asking again the similar questions. What is FD that we have taken as a part of response? Example, right? We can validate anything. It's just as a part of testing, I'm taking some random things, right? You can also try to check any other things as well. Then becomes an output. How will you get the output? Output by calling the chatbot that you have developed. Where is this chatbot coming from? This chatbot is coming from the good chatbot, the name that you have given over here. So that, and then it takes a query. It also takes a query. So that query becomes an input. Now, as soon as you ask the question input, you will get the answer output, right? You can also try to print what it is returning us as a part of output just for your checking purpose, right? Now we have two things. One is input, one is output. Okay. Using this input and output, we'll try to frame. So every language, every tools, every technology that you use, they have their own format in terms of writing something, whatever you are trying to write, right? Let's say example, you have an understanding of Java. The same code you cannot write in Python language. The same code you cannot utilize in JavaScript and TypeScript. They have their own format, right? Similarly, whenever you write the test case, whatever the test step that you write in terms of manual testing, right? We cannot directly say that, okay, validate login page in terms of test automation. For that, you have to write a code to validate that. Probably write the locator and then check if it is matching or not. Same goes over here as well, right? The syntax will be different. Logically, it works in the same way. Syntax will be different. So by using the LLM test case as one of a class, we'll create an object for LLM test case, which will help us in terms of preparing the test case. It requires you to provide input, the output that you have given with the key as actual output, expected output in case if you have expected output that you can also provide it over here. Context in terms of hallucination metrics, you will be providing the context. Retrieval context as a part of RAG based application, right? You had seen a retrieval context that it was generating us over here. Retrieval context, retrieved context. That is what known as retrieval context that you also have to provide when you try to test the RAG based application, right? In general, all these things you'll be getting to know which metrics require what kind of parameter. Answer relevancy just required two parameters. One is input equals to the input that you have given over here, and second, it requires an actual output. Actual output is the key, input is the key, and for their value over there. So actual output equals to the output that we have received over here. These two things we have given it. To make it as a test case, we'll store it inside a variable known as test case, as we have created an object for this particular class. Right, so this becomes your test case now, the steps that you generally see inside software testing. Fine. Now, what type of testing that you are trying to do? So probably you only have to validate a module, complete integration, or complete system testing, or end-to-end testing, right? Same goes over here as well. So what we are trying to validate is answer relevancy metrics. So we'll create an object for answer relevancy metrics. Answer relevancy metrics. Again, this is one of a class. If you hover over on that, you will understand what is this. It's a class. Answer relevancy metrics is also a class, which takes some kind of parameters, right? One of the mandatory parameter that you can provide is a threshold over here. Threshold. What is the minimum value that you are expecting over here? It has to have. Most of the organization goes with 0.8. Right? Most of the organization go with 0.8. That means your answer at least has to be 80% relevant to the question that it have been asked. Right? So you try to write an assertion whether your expected equal is matching or not. That is what you are trying to provide over here. This answer relevancy matrix will return us the score. If that score is greater than 0.8, your test case will pass. If that is not greater than 0.8, then your test case will fail. That is what the threshold we are trying to provide it. This becomes an answer relevancy. So I'll provide the name as AREL. Answer relevancy equals to this. So what it will do, this answer relevancy will generate will take the input, will take the output, and depending on that input and output, it returns us the score whether the answer that it have been given by your LLM is matching or not. If it is matching 100%, then it gives us a 1. If it is not, then partially some score, whatever it is, matching it over here. Now we have a test case, we have an assertion. These two values will be given to the evaluate method that you have done over here. This evaluate method will try to get the test case, which consists of your input, output, the answer relevancy matrix, which has generated you the score. Depending on all these three things, it checks whether your score that it have been generated is greater than 0.8 or not. Is greater than 0.8 or not. So in this case, this evaluate, if you hover over, this is a function. It takes a test case in the form of list, that means in the form of array, and metrics again in the form of list, which is again an array over here. So you will simply write it inside the square bracket test case that you have created over here, and then which metrics that you are trying to provide, that metrics information you will provide it in this case. That's it, nothing else. If you want to get this evaluate method will return us the evaluation result. In case if you want to also get the result, that you can also print it over here, result, and then print the result in this case. Print the complete result that it is, which is not required. It will anyways return us the value. But in case if you want to also see that over here, that will also work. That's it. Right now, I have a couple of steps that I'll write it, which is only for the dashboard based test, which is just for dashboard over here. That means the dashboard that you are trying to create for that. Okay, so I'll just go in a flow. Nothing to understand right now, but you'll understand it later, that how do you get the value. So this langfuse will get me the trace ID. That means the session ID, it will get it over here that I'm trying to store. And then using the langfuse library, I'm just trying to create score, right? This is not a part of your test case. This is basically to also load it inside your metrics. The metrics, the dashboard, monitoring dashboard that you have created over here, to load it inside that dashboard as well, right? The last question that I have asked is, what is personal loan? In one of a demo session, I talked about what is personal loan, right? And currently we are trying to ask what is FD. So that question, that answer, it has to give us as a part of first row inside this, either inside this or inside this one, full log, right? Inside this one, it has to return us. So that is where I'm trying to create this one to also generate me inside the dashboard. So trace ID becomes a trace ID over here. Then I'm saying it as name of the metrics that I'm trying to evaluate. So that becomes answer relevancy is the name of the metrics that I'm trying to provide. Value is one of so from this answer relevancy metrics, we'll get a score. So that score, again, I'm trying to attach what is the score for metrics, and then I'm saying it as comment it as a pass if answer relevancy dot success. That means if it have been success over here, then return as a pass, else make it as fail. If the success is true, then return as a pass, else provide the answer as fail inside this. Okay, this will be loaded on your dashboard where you see like pass and fail kind of. If the result is not greater than 0.8, it will make it as fail, or else it will make it as pass over here. Okay, and then close the langfuse dot flush. Okay, so this is the test case. You do not have to, I have not made you understand this. That's fine. It will just be loaded on the dashboard for now. This is the test case that we are trying to provide. Okay, what is the test case? It generates us the answer that we are trying to frame by whatever the parameter that it requires. We are trying to provide the input and output, create a matrix for that. This evaluate will take both of the test case and metrics and evaluate if the score is greater than 0.8 or not. Fine. Let's see whether it is working or not. Let me, okay. So to test a deep eval, whenever you have to run the deep eval test case, we use a command known as deep eval test run and path of the file, whichever file that you are trying to run over here, path of file. So simple deep eval test run. And what is the path of the file? It is available inside your test directory, so that you can provide it, which is test and provide the file name, test answer relevancy dot py. That's it, right? It will go inside your test file. If everything goes well, it will go inside your test file. Whatever step by step that you have given will keep on continuing, and then it comes up with the answer. If everything goes well inside this, every syntax that you have given is correct, it will start executing. Looks like my system becomes slow, or else it should have started by now. Okay, it has generated, it started generating the answer. Now it says that the output that it has returned us is something like this. FD stands for fixed deposit. It is a financial instruction offered by bank, financial institution, and so on and so forth. In this case, it has taken a total token as 236, prompt token this one, completion token this one. To where it is coming from, you have given it inside the good chatbot. So if you see inside this, you have given that also return me total token, prompt token, completion token, and total cost, right? So that also it has returned us inside this. If you see, where is the result? So inside this, and total cost as well. To run this particular test case, how much it has returned as a cost. Duration was 6 seconds, so that also it has captured over here. It looks like somewhere we have given the result which is wrong, right? Can anyone guess what is wrong? So we are trying to return this one. right? So it is returning the complete answer over here. And what we discussed is if you just need a response, we have to give the reference as a part of output over here, right? That is what we have not given. So we are directly returning the output, which will be in the form of complete value, not only the response. Your LLM test case only requires the response over here. LLM test case only requires what is the response, but your response consists of all the details inside this one, right? So how do we get those value? I'll say it as response equals to output, and then provide the in square bracket what should be the value, whatever you have given for the response over here. So this becomes a key which returns us the output over here. Okay, this response becomes the main response that we can put it and provide it over here as a part of response, right? So earlier you were trying to provide the complete details, and it talks about how do I know that it is failing, because it talks about actual output must be just a string, not the one that you have given over here. How do I know that that step is failing? You will also be able to know because it says that line number 54 is failing. We had a 54, this one we have given a 2 steps over there, that is where it have been added, right? So 54 was basically this value. Fine. Now let's again try to run this and see, but what we have seen is it returns us the result, right? Now it will validate whether the result is correct or not the correct, but whether the answer is relevant or not. Okay, let's say again. After this, I'll quickly move to the course content to understand. You might have gotten the glimpse of what the course content will be. It will go through with the course content and then we'll see it over here. So this is the response. Now this time, if you see, it has just given us a response. FD stands for fixed deposit. Is it a financial instrument offered by something? Fixed tenure, interest rate, safety, liquidity, and so on, right? And then it has evaluated, and it says that answer relevancy is passed because it has generated score 1, which is greater than 0.8. What is the reason behind the past? The score is 1 because the answer was fully relevant and addressed the question directly without any irrelevant information. Without any irrelevant information. What was your question? What was your actual output? If you have any expected output, context, or retrieval, that will also display, and it says that 1 over here. Okay, that means answer relevancy is working properly in this case. Okay. Okay, so it has generated the answer. Now let me change the response itself. I'm changing the response, saying that you can apply for personal loan using online banking. This is hard coded value, right? I know that you will not be getting this response from the LLM that you have developed, but I'm just trying to hard code the value to see whether it is failing this time or not, right? Because this time it will not be able to generate you the correct answer, so it has to fail. Meanwhile, I will also open the dashboard as well so that you will see the recent response that it have been developed, that it have been gone through. So Streamlit run dashboard.py. Dashboard.py is this one that I have created over here. This will open the value. This will simply open the dashboard over here. It will take some time, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, because it used to calculate full logs, the 50 different response that I'm trying to get. Okay, now let's again try to run the same test case. This time I have hard coded the value, which is you can apply for personal loan, which is irrelevant to the question that you have asked, which is completely irrelevant to the question that you have asked. Let's see what it is coming up with this time. So the same command that you have to provide to run the test case. And this is what we'll be validating. This is one of the things. This is how you will be validating the LLM inside any of the organization that you work on, if they are either implementing the AI LLM or they have the own LLM itself, like Gemini for Google and Meta for some other things and so on. Now your answer is like you can apply for personal loan using banking, and metrics it says that zero score becomes zero this time. Your validation, your threshold was 0.8. That means minimum pass percent was 80%, 0.8 that you have given. It says that the reason behind a score is zero. The score is zero because the response did not address the question about FD at all, and instead discussed an unrelated topic about personal loan, right? So even your incorrect information, it is able to say that, and it is able to validate over here that everything is wrong in this case. The answer is not matching and gives us the value as zero over here as a part of response. That means even a single part of the value is not matching over here. Now, from here, we had the value as 13,003, and at this point of time, 13,290 is the score. Score is 50%. And whatever the question that you have asked, what is FD over here? What is FD? It has given us a result in this case. At this point of time, you have asked the questions, which is pass. Okay, was whatever the metrics that we were trying to use, it returns us the value with the date as 26. Today is 26 4. This is GMT time, like 5 hours just before that. Okay, so everything is also able to generate along with the what was the question over here, what was the output, and whatever the score was. To get the another question that we have asked related to FD and it returns us the response, you can simply refresh the dashboard and even the second part will get displayed over here. Okay, so that's basically how do we validate, how do we evaluate LLM over here. Fine. So that
Okay.
was basically
What is the token count that we display on the report?
so AI LLM works on the token level. Whenever you ask a question, and it costs on the token as well. Whenever you ask a question, right? Token is something known as token means every 4 characters will be considered as a token. Every 4 characters. You ask a question, any kind of question, what is FD, right? Over here, what becomes 1 token, is becomes 1 token, FD becomes 1 token. Right, so to ask and the question mark becomes 1 token. So to ask the question, you have invested 4 token over here. Then it returns us the response. Inside that response, every 4 characters will be considered as 1 token. That will also display us like how many tokens that you have invested. Tokens is basically to get calculated to for basically making you the cost for any of the AI LLM that you try to use.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cost means
But in your
what?
case, you somewhere hard coded the cost, right? How we will know from the other LLMs what is the cost?
In our case over here, we have just given the GPT-4o mini. However, they try to charge us. Okay, so they charge basically $0.002 on 1,000 tokens.
Okay, so
That
so
is
this is their
what
pricing model, and you mentioned it in your
exactly. Okay, that is what we have mentioned by saying total token 5,000, and then depending on that, give me how many price it has taken. By 1,000 means on 1,000 tokens, this will be the charge. Okay. Fine. So that's basically how do we evaluate anytime whenever you have to evaluate the test case, how do we evaluate it over here? Now this time So why it has decreased over here? Earlier it was 13,000, but now 12,000, because I am asking them to provide me only the last 50 requests, only the last 50 requests, right? From the last 50 requests, in the recent two requests, it has taken very less token, right? But in the previous one, I had tested with regressive things where it was taking a lot of amount, and that is where it says that not much information. So if you see inside this, what is the FD that we have asked earlier, the question, it comes as a part of, it has given us a result at 0, so that it has been marked it as low quality response. And inside this over here, it made it as a 0 score. Okay, so depending on, because we have calculated the response, because we have calculated the hard coded the response, so it did not get the real time value. Inside the dashboard, we are still trying to show, or we are still trying to push the whatever it returns depending on the output over here, the chatbot that it has returned us, right? If you see the response, it is coming from the chatbot that we have given, not the hard coded, because that I did not push it inside the dashboard, right? So that is where it says it as a pass, though the score was 0. It mentioned it as a pass because on the question and answer, it becomes correct. The chatbot that it returns, we have not given the value as the chatbot that we return us from this. That answer we can get it if I just try to increase the value to, let's say, this will take a lot of time. If I just increase to 100, it will take a lot of time. 20 into 5, it will go to the 100. Let me see. I mean, I'll come back to this dashboard when it loads, and then we'll find out what it is happening. Okay, so that's how we try to the test our any kind of LLM that we in general you have to test. Okay, now let's go back to the course agenda again and see what we have discussed. Introduction, understanding why LLM testing is important live. Let's go back to the course content and we'll come back to the question and answer again. So let's move to the course content that we have, which is this one over here. You can go through this. You will also be getting the documents, or you might have already received the documents. From there, you can go through. The course content is that I'll come back in the next couple of minutes, and
Sure.
okay. So the course content that we have is, first we'll in the initial stage we'll finish it off understanding of a Python. From the basic one, we'll understand whatever is needed for us to learn Python over here, understanding variables, data type, operators, control flow, looping concept, some of the data structure that it takes over here to handle the data. How do you upload? How do you work with the file exception handling? Will create a virtual environment and so on, right? So once we go through with the Python, after that our main LLM start working on. So 2 weeks will be given for understanding of a Python complete. And then we'll go for the introduction of AI and LLM, whatever the introduction that we have gone through in a detailed manner, that what was the historical data, current models, what is the testing challenges that we have in terms of AI LLM. When we have understood that it always used to be non-deterministic, that means you cannot determine it what will be the answer, right? And then we'll understand the different unique testing challenge, types of testing that you can perform for, not that you will be going through most of the things you will be going through, but what are the different types of testing that you can perform for LLM testing over here. Then different types of evaluation metrics that you will again be working with, which is also known as type of testing in general. So all the different types of evaluation metrics also will be going through in our session to understand what all the type of testing that you'll be evaluating. AI LLM testing frameworks, what are the different types of frameworks that are available to work with the AI LLM testing. One of them, you see it as a Playwright, right? That doesn't mean like we'll be going through. It has mentioned over here that Playwright is used for UI validation of AI LLM testing. And apart from that, we'll be using DeepEval, Ragas, Promptfoo. Langsmith is a paid version. Instead of that, you'll be using LangFuse to develop a monitoring dashboard that you have just seen over here, right? To develop a monitoring dashboard, you'll be going through in that case, right? Now it has become 100 requests, token cost have been increased, token have also been increased, and then it has given us all the different metrics, all the different 100 different types of metrics that we have asked over here, right? So this is the dashboard that where is that? I'm talking about inside the course content over here using Langsmith, which again comes as a part of LangChain, LangFuse as well. After that, we'll start setting up our test environment, test case. How do you start writing the test case? Whatever you have set up in the initial stage, we'll be going through with installation part and then set up all the part over here for deep eval, Ragas, and Promptfoo. All of them are different. So we'll set it up over there. Then we'll develop the framework as well, right? You have seen just a raw format right now. For every test case, you'll have to write all these things. So instead of that, we'll create a function and utilize those functions. CI/CD, you can also write it over here. You can also involve it that how do you take it to the CI/CD pipeline? That again becomes very simple. How do you want to train your test LLM? You can also provide the different document information to your LLM, different link information or anything that you want to provide it, that you can provide the information. Then will come as a different validations as a part of red teaming, which is an important part for any AI LLM validation. Red teaming is to check the security testing. It becomes highly important. If you are aware of this, you will pay it a lot, right? That comes as a part of adversarial testing, jailbreak scenarios, safety, compliance, ethical, toxicity, privacy leakage, data leakage, and so on for all the different metrics which we'll be using like deep eval and Promptfoo. Promptfoo is the major one which get utilized for red teaming testing. So Promptfoo is a library. In the initial stage, it have just been developed for red teaming. That means security testing. Then case study, like one of a model that you have to develop by self, whatever you have developed in the session, right? Or it will be in the session, similar kind of model that you can develop and test whether it is working or not with the capstone project, which is like to develop. Probably you can develop a chatbot which will get the data from the Zira and convert your Zira stories or Zira requirement into a test case or into a test plan. And on top of that, you can also perform many other things. Okay, so that will be basically the complete course content in general. Okay, and the last one is the question and answer. You can feel free to ask any questions over here. Before that, Anay, you were saying something?
No, just I was about to, asking you about to show the syllabus only because I got multiple DMs. What are we are going to cover in the sessions?
Okay, okay. So that is what the course content, the syllabus is. I believe you have also forwarded to everyone in the group,
Yes,
Anay?
I forwarded.
Okay,
Yes, and just mention the contact number as well.
right. So one more thing, like most of the people have, messaging in the private chat as well, sir, what is the course fee,
Yes.
right? So course fee over here is, I believe like it might have been mentioned earlier, but this is the course which is basically after the offer that we have, right? The course content is a higher, but currently on the offer we have given it as this. And second is the course duration. So this will be of 8 weeks, which is 2 months of time will be given over there. Okay. And that's basically the things. Anything? Okay. You should have been added inside any of the group. So connect with only the admins, believe only on the admins. Only the admin will message you. Anna, can you talk about your contact number?
Yes, so you will be the part, yeah, 93
Mm-hmm.
808
Okay.
74 255.
Okay. So you can contact on this number as well. You are in the group. Only believe on the
Q
group
India.
admin. Right.
Yeah,
Only believe the group admin. Never answer anyone, whoever is trying to ping you for any other things. Okay. Only believe on the group admin. Fine. Never believe on. Anyways, like I believe you have disabled the other, right, Anay? It's just an admin can message, right?
correct, correct.
Okay. So from anyone, if you get any kind of message, do not believe on any other things for any payment and all. Okay. Go ahead and ask for the question and answer now.
Yeah, Praveen, only two questions. So are you covering the MCP server also? How we are configuration that in this?
No, MCP server is again a part of different things, right? MCP server connection comes as a part of UI testing.
Okay. And just what we have tested now. First upon as a open API, you have given the API key as a uh, ChatGPT 4.mini. Okay. By the help of this only that FD related answer we fetch the data, right?
Right.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to ask question, whatever that you have. Any type
Yeah,
of questions that you have, feel free to ask.
yeah. You
Will
have
you
mentioned
cover
the
the
course.
Python basics also?
Yes.
Okay. So you have mentioned the course is 8 weeks. So the classes will be daily,
Weekend. This will be a
weekend
weekend batch,
only.
Saturday and Sunday. Yes. 8 to 10:30, 8 to 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Morning. Okay.
Yes.
Agent course is also covered here.
Which one?
Agentic AI.
Agentic again becomes the similar things. What is agent is a someone who is expert in certain fields, right? So that is what becomes an agentic over here, right? In case, okay, one more thing that I missed to answer. In case if you have any other things that you see are not available in the course content and you feel that it will also help you, right? It will also help you. You can come back to me any point of time and help you with that to set up everything for you from scratch.
Yeah, actually, agentic AI mostly industry is asking. So actually, we want to know that means how it gets set up. Okay.
Exactly in the same way,
So yeah.
however, we have developed for the chatbot, it works. You
Mm-hmm.
have to write the test case in the same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly same way. You will be using the library as well, only the deep eval and Promptfoo over there, not the ragas. You will be using the deep eval and Promptfoo. And that is where I'm saying, like the chatbot that you have developed is also an agent, one agent. Okay. So that is where you will also be going through with that. And as I said, in case if you are only trying to configure an agent, you come back to me, I'll help you with that as well. Okay, so main part becomes like covering up or development of certain AI or LLM that help us. That agent is also an LLM itself. The testing will remain same. Whatever you try to develop over here will remain same inside the testing.
Sir, that's a, I have just one question. This is Rishikesh. Uh, After like moment the course will be started, and let's say somehow if we miss any lecture, do we get a recorded session?
Recording session you will be getting on the daily basis and will be available for lifetime access.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, recordings on daily basis for lifetime access. Right, most of the organization give it for 1 year. Over here it will be for lifetime access. Right, so
Okay.
installment, see,
And
we also have Kushal, just to answer your question, if I have pronounced your name correctly, we have the general, the general course fee is like 34,999. On top of that, we have just given a discount for OTP, which is 29,999. right? So in case if you go for installment, then again it will cost you more. You will have to basically pay somewhere closer to this one, right? So you can connect with the person.
Credit card payment is acceptable, sir? Credit card
Sorry?
payment is acceptable or just
Yes, it is.
UPI? Okay.
It is also acceptable.
Okay, so if
Will
we
you cover
if we
any
go to
job
this
support,
course,
like
yeah,
resume preparation, those things will be added?
Yes, support will be also given. So we have a lot of organization when it comes to be an openings. Can you please mute yourself? Some background noise is coming, Stefan. I'll just
Yes.
mute you. Okay. So yes, you will also be given the different support. So usually get the whenever the job openings used to be, we also get the information from the team, right, from the organization. So we try to post that as well, to the different organizations. We sometimes also take the interview. Depending on that, we try to share. Depending on that, we try to share the your resume to the different organizations as well, right? Regarding the placement, again, you will be prepared to get the placement. We do not have any organization that we are running right now. So like we cannot give you the placement, but we'll support you to prepare in such a way that wherever you go for an interview, you will be getting qualified. But provided you also have to practice. It's not something that you just go through with the course content or recordings and that will give you everything. No, you will have to practice and then you will be coming up with that as well. Okay. Any other questions for now?
yeah, on completion of this course, so in the real time industry, how much experience we can put it? Like if I have around 10 years in automation and testing, out of which how much I can put it?
Right. So there is no generic answer for this, depending on your confidence level. Right. So let's say you have gone
Okay.
through with all the topics, you have practiced in a better way, and you are sure that you'll be able to develop everything from scratch. Even you can say that you have been working from 1.5 years. Right. If you are a bit less confidence, you can say like you have been working on from the last 6 months or from the last 1 year and so on. Right. So I'd suggest as much as you are confident, do not show more than 2 years because it is famous in the market from the last 2 years only.
Okay.
Any prerequisites, Praveen? I mean, like, basic codings like that, do we need required for this course?
Nothing applicable. You'll be going
Praveen, if you are speaking, we are unable to hear you.
Not audible.
Am I audible, team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So weekday will start from 27th July, and then weekend will start from 27th June.
So Praveen,
These batches for
in the
weekends, correct?
weekday, it will be 1 hour or 2 hour?
So it will be 1.5 hours for 4 days in a week. This will be from Monday to Thursday.
This particular batch is for weekend, right?
This is the one that you are going for the demo is only for the weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
So from 27th onwards, it would be a fresh batch, like, you start from the basics, right? Praveen?
Exactly. We'll be starting from the.
No, I'm just asking. This session is concluded as a fresh batch, like fresh session, or else how it's gonna be from the next week
From
onwards?
27th onwards, we'll start with the fresh.
Because my friend is asking he'll join in next week so that he didn't make it in this batch.
No, next week we will not get the demo. Next week we'll directly start with the course content.
Okay. It's not required today's session, right?
No, we do not need to have the first session. This is just a demo to how do you go through with what you will be learning it over here. Any other questions for now?
Yeah, like again the same question. This demo is for weekend batch, right? It will be 8 to 10:30 on Saturday and Sunday, starting from 27 June.
Yes. So on 27th, you will not have any demo session. It will directly be starting with the sessions.
Do we have any class tomorrow or directly now 27th?
Directly on 27th.
Okay.
So no session tomorrow,
Whatever is
Praveen?
covered today.
No.
Hello.
So
So
yes, please.
whatever is covered today will also be repeated on 27th.
Not on 27th. This was just a demo. So demo have been completed today. From 27th onwards, we'll start with the regular sessions.
Okay. Thank you.
So Praveen, by August end, we can expect this batch would be finished.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
So Praveen, do we have anything about Playwright as well here?
No, not in this, but we have another batch for Playwright.
Okay, thank you.
Hi Praveen, will you be providing a recording session of this as well? This demo session as well?
Yes.
In the same group?
In the same group, you will be getting this recording sessions as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Praveen. I joined for Selenium course with Danai. So if I join this, will it be useful for
100%.
Completely?
Both of them are entirely different, right? The Selenium is for UI automation, and this becomes for LLM automation.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question, team?
Praveen, do we have resume guidance?
Yes, that will also be covered over here. Inside this, you will also be getting the resume guidance as well, right? So the notes that I was talking about, that also consists of the resumes. If you see inside this, right, this is the complete notes. And one of a folder inside this will be a resume, right? Sample resume. So that also you'll be getting, but you'll also be given the support of the resume as well.
Okay. Do we need to know Playwright, Praveen, for this?
You do not need to know Playwright for understanding this one. Right? You do not need to know, but if you're, I lost your question, but in case if you're saying that you want to also learn, you can, but you do not have to learn as a part of prerequisite.
Okay.
Praveen, I have just one question. See, there are few people in my circle who has experience in IT industry, specifically at the software development around, you can say 10 to 15 years. Okay. So how this course will help him to get some good job opportunity? Because you know the market, lot of things, a lot of people have been laid off due to some reasons. So how this course will help him? Can you just explain so I can also circulate.
So see, this course is basically, see, when we talk about um, layoff, right? And if you see the trend of the layoff, you will see that someone who has been working on mostly manual, someone who have been working on, I'd say Selenium as well, Tosca, and some other things mostly have been affected, right? It's just because nowadays those tools and technology are very less. If we talk about a playwright, you will not see that the person have been working on a playwright have been impacted. You'll not see the person who have been working on AI LLM testing kind of things have been impacted, right? So now, what was the reason of impact? Because they say that manual testing, Tosca, some of the automation part can be done by your AI or LLM, right? Now they have started implementing AI. Now, if you see the report of Atlassian, right? The Zira that you use, Atlassian organization, they have fired 1,600 employee in the last 1,600 employee in the last 3 months, and 800 AI tester they have hired in the last 3 months. 800 AI tester in the last months by firing 1,600 like people. Those 1,600 were whoever were not working on AI LLM testing. Now they have hired 800 people because they say that by implementation of AI LLM testing that they are mapping it inside their product or the LLM that they are trying to use, it will help them to test LLM. If the LLM is working properly, then they can also use for automation as well. Then they can also use for manually to generate the code by using LLM if the LLM is working properly, right? So if you go through with the LLM testing part, which comes as a role as AI tester, and that you have seen mostly over here, this will give you an edge over the other people that AI LLM testing. You will be given a role where you can fit it inside the AI test engineer, evaluator, and so on. Second thing is where this course will be helpful. This course will be helpful when you are trying to go for any interviews. Let's say go for Selenium, go for Playwright. Nowadays they are also asking LLM testing, right? There are a couple of people attending our session today who is from the Playwright batch, right? They have gone through the interview and they have been asked for what is AI LLM testing, right? From the recent, in the last 2 months, 15 students come back saying that, sir, they were also asking AI LLM testing as well, right? So AI LLM testing, whatever the course that you have gone through the demo part over here, will help you to not only learn the testing part, but in case if you do not have understanding of even the UI automation or any other things, you can also get the job just by using AI LLM testing itself. When you test something which generates you the code, becomes a reliable LLM, becomes the reliable agent, chatbot, and that you can also use for using your or developing your test automation for UI, API, and so on. That is the advantage that you'll be going through with this. I hope it might have answered you the question.
So we can generate tests
Yeah, thank you.
automatically in this, right?
By using the LLM, you can generate the UI test as well.
Okay.
Any other question for now? I have like 5 more minutes.
Hey, hi Praveen. This is Naga here. Just quick question. I might have missed the initial part of the call. I just wanted to know, like for this AI LLM testing, would there be any need for a premium package of any of the tools, or they're all the
Right.
basic versions of tools?
Exactly. That's the question that I was trying to expect. You'll be getting a premium packages, right? So there are two things happen. So Deep Eval and Promptfoo, if you learn, those are the premium library available, right? When we say premium library, that means 95% of the organization are using these library to test their AI.
And when you say premium, it means I need to pay for getting the licenses, right?
No, premium means I mean to say that most of the organization are using.
Okay.
Now,
Got it.
whatever the library that we have discussed in our session today, which is Deep Eval, Promptfoo and Raga, all of them are free of cost, open source. Okay. Now, when we talk about the CTC that you expect, right? So we have recently concluded our session or a batch, and from there, a couple of people were got more than 50 LPA as well. A couple of people have transformed from lower CTC to the higher by making it as 160%, 180%, 200% as well. Right. So it depends on, again, as I was talking about, as I was answering one question, saying that how many years of experience that you can say, it depends on your confidence level.
Okay, got it. And the ragas, benchmarks, and everything are pretty still evolving in certain areas, right? Like there are some benchmarks which are like coming up and trying to standardize and all. But from a core standpoint, we would be covering till the way we can capture those benchmarks, and from then on, depending on the organization's project's needs, we would have to take care of it, right? That's probably how we
So
would.
so for the Promptfoo that you see, Promptfoo is a library which is mainly available for two things: red teaming, like a security testing, and second is for model evaluation, different model evaluation. Right? So what generally organization does, Gemini, what it does, they'll create 3-4 different models of the same model, different versions of the same model. Whichever works in a better way, they deploy to the production.
Okay.
Right. So comparison of model also you can do by using Promptfoo.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, Praveen. That really helps. Yeah.
I still have 2 more minutes. I need to fly after this, so I have just 2 more minutes. Feel free to ask any question that you have, or in case if you missed, if you were not able to ask any questions, you can also basically ask the question to the admin of the group, and they'll also be able to give you the answer as well. I believe I have asked the questions. We do not have LMS app right now. We are in a planning to set up, but we do not have LMS right now. LMS is, again, probably you will have to have the access of 1 year or 2 year maximum. Right. So if we set up the LMS, currently you'll have the access for lifelong. We'll be creating a WhatsApp. Yes, and I has already answered. How to enroll and complete payment. You just have to ping the admin. They will provide you the details of payment, and then you can pay and enroll for. See, Sri, just to answer your question, if I have pronounced your name correctly, which is better, Playwright or LLM? Both of them you have to learn it. Right? It's not only that LLM testing. LLM testing becomes to evaluate your LLM. Playwright is for UI automation. Right? So you do not have to. You do not only have to depend on LLM testing and so on. Right? So LLM testing becomes moreover for evaluating AI. Playwright becomes for UI automations. Both of them are entirely different. Okay. So that's about the things for today. Hopefully it might have given you the answer that what you will be learning it over here, what could be the covered inside the course content. It might have given you a better understanding of what is AI, LLM, RAG, how do you test, course content, fees duration, and so on. Right. In case if you have any further questions, feel free to ask the questions in the group as well, and we'll be able to answer. And we'll take it again from the next week, where we'll start with the regular batch. Okay. Thanks a lot, every one of you, whoever were able to make till the final, till the last minute, and whoever were able to drop in between. That's also depending on certain priorities you might be having. Thanks to every one of you whoever have joined over here, and we'll see you again in the regular sessions. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.